Hello, this is Brett Roberts, and today I'm going to be talking about this standard
For handball,
manipulative,
by way of an
specifically
extension,
the underhand
students could look
throwing,
up the differences between
passing
the
with
actual
hands,
rules
and
of
then
handball
catching
and the
as they
modified
see
version that we play
here.
in class and determine
These
which
are both
skills they would
throwing,
need in order to
passing, catching
play
are
the
all
actual
vital
version
for
of handball.
students' physical development. So the first lesson I'm going to start by demonstrating throwing myself and how to catch as well. This is going to help, first of all, it will help all of the students to know exactly what they're supposed to do, and it will also help any non-native English speakers, ELLs, and special needs students, as they will have the chance to model exactly what I do just based on observing. Now, when they're throwing, they're going to ensure they step with the opposite foot. They're going to bring their arm up above their shoulders and then throw in one fluid motion as they step. When catching, they're going to be giving their partner a target with their palms facing out and understand how to position their hands when the ball is thrown to either side, above their head, below their waist, so going across their body. If catching on their left side, going across their body with their right arm. And if they're catching on the right side, going across their body with their left arm. Now, once I've demonstrated and given the students plenty of time to ask questions and make sure everybody's understanding exactly what they're supposed to do and how to do it, which is an important aspect, we're going to group them, allowing to choose their own groups, about 3 to 4 in each group. So this would be either heterogeneous or homogeneous, depending on how the students group themselves. And this, I think, is fine, as it will give uh, any friends in the class the chance to work together, have fun together, ideally, and then also hopefully encourage each other as well. This is not going to be a competitive thing by any means, and so yeah, either the homogeneous or heterogeneous groups is totally fine. Uh, I will do a formative assessment by just walking around and observing the groups as they throw amongst each other, and then giving tips where I can and giving help. And it will help me to see where the weak points are and allow me to uh, correct any issues that I'm seeing. If I'm seeing things for amongst the whole class, for instance, I will give I'll stop the whole class and demonstrate any kind of weak points or anything I see that needs to be corrected. Now, for an online lesson, although it wouldn't be ideal, we could do an underhand throw and catch to themselves, and it might not be the same as what you're seeing here, but it will at the very least give the chance for the students to catch, and then if they can, if it's a possibility, they can practice with either a parent or a sibling. Now, for the second lesson, so that was the first lesson. For the second lesson, we'll do a brief review of the form and motion of throwing and briefly go back into the groups, possibly the same groups that they were in the first lesson, and practice for just a few minutes just to get back into the flow. And again, giving the students time before that to ask any questions. Then we will regroup them by putting them in heterogeneous groups and form 4 lines with a few feet between each student. So they'll be spread out across the gym, and they'll practice throwing overhand in a more controlled situation. Now, the purpose of the heterogeneous groups in this case is to give some competition, because after the students get used to throwing in a line, they're going to compete with the other line. So the first team or line to get the ball down to the last person in the line and then throw it all the way back down will be the winner. And then after a few rounds of this, it will give the students something to work toward, competing with their friends and classmates. And then after a few rounds of this, we'll actually remove 2 of the balls. So again, there are 4 lines, so we'll go down to 2 balls instead of 4. And then the students will work together with the adjacent line, and they will throw in diagonally in a zigzag pattern. And then they will be now competing amongst the 2 groups instead of the 4 lines. And again, this is a chance for me to walk around to see exactly which students are strong, which ones need more work, and to formatively assess them and, again, correct any issues I may see. The third lesson, we will introduce dodgeball as a fun way to practice the throwing and catching skills we've been learning. So we'll again put them in heterogeneous groups to make the teams as fair as possible. We'll explain the rules, And this will get the students the chance to move around and then perform the standards, specifically the standards of throwing in a dynamic, small-sided practice tasks. And then when both partners are moving, so they'll be throwing, wouldn't be partners in this case, but they'll be throwing to a target, which is this one right here, overhand with large target with accuracy. And yeah, this will be a fun way, again, for the students to practice throwing. And then with catching, it would be kind of a hard thrown ball, but they'll be catching above their head, below their waist, and to either side. And again, in a fun and admittedly competitive, but a fun environment. And we'll play this for 2 consecutive class periods, as it will give the students more chance to get accustomed to the rules and the way that the game works, and then it would also get them performing these standards without even realizing that they're being assessed. And then for the final lessons in this unit, we're going to play a modified version of the game handball. Students will throw into a goal, split in teams, again, heterogeneous groups, to make the teams as fair as possible. They're going to pass to a teammate who is moving. Both of them will be moving, so they will catch the ball, throw in chest to waist level. They will catch with accuracy with both partners moving. They will be, again, catching with in a dynamic environment. And we'll play this again at least 2 class periods, and again give the students more chance to practice and become familiar with the rules of this game that's a little bit more difficult than what we've done.
The 21st century skills that students would use in a game like dodgeball or something similar would include collaboration, perseverance, communication, social skills, and self-direction. Extension could include things like searching on the internet for places that dodgeball is played internationally in tournaments, and could even have them seek out some local tournaments that they could potentially go see themselves. For handball, by way of extension, students could look up the differences between the actual rules of handball and the modified version that we play in class, and determine which skills they would need in order to play the actual version of handball.
That would be the full unit of throwing and catching that we will do in my PE class. Thank you.